You're watching and listening to the latest Red and Blue review show. For all your Crystal Palace related chat, please like and subscribe across all the usual social media platforms, especially our YouTube channel. This really helps us out. Now, let's get on with the show.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Palace fans across the globe. Welcome back after the international break to yet another Red and Blue Review podcast. With me, Ian Noble, hosting this evening. Nick Philpott still thinks it's the international break. He's not quite returned from his leave, although I'm only joking. He was at the game yesterday, I think. So it's good to see people joining us in the chat already. Good evening to you. And joining me on screen tonight, we have ladies first this evening. Yasmin Broom, Tariq Mitchell's biggest fan. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Ian.
Really good. You still advocate that Tariq Mitchell should be in the England squad ahead of Lewis Skelly, right?
100%. Yeah.
We'll talk about Tariq a little bit more later on in the show. And Paul Gear, Aka the Real Panel, he's back as well. Fresh from his visit to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to see the NFL along with Oliver Glasner and Steve Parish. How are you, Paul? All right?
Yeah, all good, thank you, Ian. Yeah, still a bit gutted after yesterday, which I still can't get my head around, being gutted after not losing the game when we were 2 down at half time and losing in stoppage time, but we'll get on to all that in a bit.
We will get on to that in a bit. Not as gutted as Philippe Mateta was on final score yesterday, I hasten to add, but there we are. Oliver told him not to worry. He scored 3 goals. Enjoy the moment. And finally, making up the quartet this evening, Ireland's finest, Fergus Tidd, who has... apparently, he told me yesterday, he has already got his Shelbourne match ticket. How he's managed to do that, I'll let him tell you. Good evening, Ferg.
Evening, Ian. Yeah, it's a secret. I can't tell you how I got it. I'm guaranteed at least a spot in the stadium somewhere.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
He has friends in Ireland.
I agree with Yas. Yeah, I agree with Yas on the Mitchell aspect as well. Definitely better than Lewis Skelly.
Very good. Okay. Anyway, you have friends in high places in Ireland, and they've sorted out your match ticket for Shelbourne. But well done, and we'll see you over there. Obviously, it's a while off yet, but I thought I'd get that in tonight. Anyway, welcome back, everyone. After the international break, it's good to see so many people joining us in the chat. Yes, do you want to just a few welcomes for us this evening?
Yeah. So we've got Tom Clark Samuel, Paul Bristow, Keith Parker, Mark Callahan, one of our crew, Ian Donald.
Ian Donald, oh my goodness, he's watching.
Ian. Yeah, live. He never usually does that. Dawn Palace, Joan Wells, Keith Parker, Philip Swan David, and Robert Watmore.
Anyway, very good evening to you all. You're all very, very welcome. And do comment in the chat as we talk about stuff, and we'll try and involve you as much as we possibly can. Of course, it's been an international break. And I can't remember an international break when we have had so many players on international duty and them all doing so well. First and foremost, it's important to say they all came back unscathed. But we had apparently 15 players in total on international duty, 13 of them at full international level, and just JD Camvo and Romain Esse at under 21 level. And of course, they all did rather well. So Mark Gahey, he got 2 assists for England in that first game. He got a break in the second game. Didn't have to play. They were managing his minutes, so they said. So 2 assists from centre-back is pretty impressive. Ismail Sarr from Senegal, he got 2 goals and an assist. Yeremy Pino, it's his first goal for Spain while being a Palace player. That makes him sort of 17 caps and 4 goals, I think. And then our Colombian boys are in fine form again. Munoz got a break from one of the games, but Jefferson Lerma scored a cracking goal. That was a really good goal. And, of course, the big headlines was Jean-Philippe Mateta scoring on his full debut for France away in Iceland, making his debut a few days earlier, off the bench, of course. And at the age of 28, getting a call up for his country must be something else. And, of course, that hit the headlines really for the wrong reason, guys, didn't it? So I guess we've all seen the Wilfried Zaha video. Goodness me. I mean, talk about hero to zero. The guy hasn't done himself any favours, in my opinion. What did you make of what Wilf said about Jean-Philippe Mateta's comments. For those of you who don't know, I mean, maybe you all do know, but apparently Jean-Philippe Mateta said after he played for France that Wilf, players like Wilf, I think he said, like Zaha, commented and laughed at him for saying that he would like to play for France one day, and that was a couple of years ago. So what do we make of what Wilf said in that video? Fergus, you first.
Yeah, I just think it's just a bit of banter between the players. You know, I think it's been blown out of all proportion. I think the fact that Zaha's name was mentioned and Jean-Philippe Mateta didn't correct it and say, well, actually, it wasn't just Zaha, it was 10 other players. It was a bit of banter. I think the fact that he didn't correct it, he's always been a bit of a hothead, hasn't he? So he's taken to social media to try and rectify it, which, yeah, he probably shouldn't have done. Let sleeping dogs lie, but yeah, just blown out of schoolboys. It's just, yeah.
Okay, so
didn't need to happen.
Okay, Yasmin, you've always been a big Zaha fan when he played for us. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I kind of think the same as Fergus, really. I don't think any one name should have been mentioned because I think all of us didn't think he'd play for France at a certain point in time. And they do have banter in the dressing room. But I do think Wilf did overreact, but that's his temperament, unfortunately. And it just sort of all came out, didn't it? On social media, which probably isn't the best place for him to have done it. And if it's right that JP wouldn't accept his good wishes or whatever, that's not right either. But we'll never know the true story,
No.
I guess.
No, absolutely not. Ian Donald says Wilf will look back on it and regret the rant. I think I'll make him right. Crazy thing to do, really. Wilf has not done himself any favours there at all. And of course, did you hear about what happened to him in the MLS, Paul? I think it was today, even, was it? Or was it yesterday?
No, I
think it was.
He got sent off at the end. Apparently, he raised his hand at the end. Someone wound him up, and he was shown the red card. So, dear old Wilf.
He was never one to overreact, was he?
No, exactly. Yeah. It's funny. I was watching. Before we came on, I just caught the beginning of the Strictly results show, and I was just thinking it's the kind of thing Wilf would do in a couple of years' time. Go on Strictly, just imagine him doing it, can't you? So if he does, you heard it here first.
Can you get sent off from Strictly?
Probably. There we go. Anyway, so overall, guys, really good international break for our players. I know you were planning to go to Wembley, but didn't make it yet. So pretty impressive by Mark Gahey again playing in that first game for England. Surprised not to see him on the team sheet for the second game, really. But no bad thing being a Palace fan.
No, I agree. He did so well against Wales. And I think, to be honest, he's like the first choice to be on the team sheet, really. I was a bit surprised, like you, that he wasn't in the second game, but then relieved, especially after what happened to Ollie Watkins getting injured. And, we just couldn't afford that. So, but yeah, he is brilliant. I think he will be England captain one day.
Yeah, I think so. And because he was named to go into the press conference with Thomas Tuchel, I think some of us, including me, thought that he would be given the armband for that Wales game, but it wasn't to be. I don't think a Palace player has ever captained England, Paul. Am I right in saying that?
I don't remember it, if that's the case. Well, yeah, I wouldn't swear on it, but I'm pretty sure we'd know about it.
I thought it was the kind of thing you would know, but never mind. That's okay.
Paul Bristow will know. Paul, let us know.
Paul Bristow will know, I'm sure. But I'm pretty sure no Palace player has ever captained England. But maybe Mark Gahey one day. We shall see. Okay. So let's get on and talk about this game. But before we do, I think it's worth just touching on the press conference before the game. This is what Oliver Glasner had to say.
The last three games, since I'm in charge, so we conceded one and we didn't score any. So it was they scored one and we know. So I don't expect a 3-3 tomorrow, honestly.
I don't expect a 3-3 tomorrow. Well, Oliver, you can't get it right all the time, mate, can you? There we go. It did make me laugh. And I think he sort of laughed himself during the post-match press conference to say, hey, I got it wrong. Don't ask Oliver Glasner for your lottery numbers because he won't do you any favours. So, Fergus, you're going to cover this game for us. There's lots to talk about. We're all going to contribute, of course. It was a game of fine margins, just shed loads of talking points, and we just didn't see it coming, did we? That result and the game itself was just a marvellous spectacle from start to finish. Ferg, let's look at the team lineup first of all.
Yeah.
Any surprises for you in there, or is what you would expect? It's the same team that's lined up against Everton, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what everybody expected. I mean, no changes. Everyone came back fit from international duties. So, and although we lost the Everton game for 70 minutes, we were by far the better side. So there's no reason to make any drastic changes.
Yeah. And the only player missing from the bench is Uche, I think. You know, he went away with Nigeria, didn't play out there, but he obviously had a lot of travel, but he didn't make the bench. So surprised at that, Paul Gear, that he wasn't on the bench or not really?
Well, yeah. I mean, if he's fit, he'll be on the bench when we brought him in. We're not just going to dump him out. I think he's a useful addition to have to come off the bench. I can only assume it was just the fact he had a lot of travel. Maybe he got back late. Glasner did say in his press conference they only had the whole full squad back on Friday. So maybe if him and possibly Cardines went the other side of the world, if they got back Friday morning, they probably weren't considered.
Yeah, fair enough. Jill says Hughes for Kamada he would have selected, but we know you're not Kamada's biggest fan, Jill, but never mind. We will. Let's come to the game. Fergus, let's kick off. First of all, they turned us round. It's worth saying that. I don't like it when that happens.
Yeah. No, I don't either. It's horrible kicking to the Homesdale end first half. I don't know why. We just never seem to do well, do we?
I think Forest didn't do as well, didn't they?
Maybe they know that. Yeah.
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah, they think he's going to disrupt us. Yeah. Anyway, carry on, Ferg.
Yeah, so, ref Gerard Gillett. So I'm sure we'll be talking about him quite a lot during this podcast. But, so we kicked off Bournemouth very, very energetic in the early stages. Although I think we had the first chance, Mateta had a shot, which the Bournemouth keeper saved. And then very quickly after that, Semenyo got booked, which I thought, wow, very early on in the game, best player on a yellow. You know, could it happen? Could he be sent off very early in the game and, we get that advantage? Sadly, it wasn't to be. Yeah, and then obviously the big first talking point was the goal in the 7th minute, Bournemouth. It was a well-worked corner, Justin Kluivert, and Antoine Semenyo was in there, flicked on with his head. And the youngster, I think he's 18 or 19, his full debut. Eli Junior Krupi. Yeah, headed home at the far post. I've got to admit, when it first went in, I thought he was offside. I thought it was one of those where it was going in, he should have left it. But on the other post, you had Kamada just stood there. He was playing him on. It was obviously the man that was stood on that front post. That was his position. So probably can't really blame him. But initially I thought, they're going to disallow this, but no. So it was a goal.
Yeah. Apparently their first goal from a corner all season, Bournemouth, according to what I read. We missed out on the header. Semenyo gets the flick on. I think Lacroix was involved in there. Of course, the boy on the back post was literally unmarked and headed it in. We're at fault for that goal, Yaz? I mean, if so, who's at fault for that goal?
We were at fault for that goal. I thought it was too easy for them. We couldn't quite believe it. So some people in the chat saying it was Kamada who was at fault for it. I don't know. For playing him on,
you mean? For playing him on side?
Well, yeah, I guess so. They haven't explicitly said that.
I'm not even sure if it come off JP's head as well, because JP was marking Semenyo, wasn't he? He was the closest to him.
And Lacroix was involved there as well. Lacroix I saw Lacroix go up, and it was like he was heading thin air. These balls come across so quick, don't they? And I think sometimes you just get a bit lucky, maybe, and it just happened to be in the right place at the right time for them. But I think it was a soft goal, as Yaz says, but we're at fault somewhere, aren't we? Is there any one individual at fault for that goal, or is it a collective thing, do you think?
I think collective. I think they went off very hot, very fast, didn't they, Bournemouth? Like a high press completely. And I don't know if it took us by surprise or what, but we just, for the first like 15, 20 minutes, we weren't very good, were we? We were just not. So there was quite a few players that weren't as usual, like Chris Richards even was a bit dodgy at times, and he's not usually like that. So maybe it could have been tiredness as well from all the travelling they've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think we're going to get better at this, i.e. coping with the international travel, as we get more successful and more players playing international football, the European games as well? Are we gonna get more acclimatized to more football? Is there something we can learn as a club, do you think? You can tell we haven't rehearsed this.
I think, yeah, definitely. I think it's all about conditioning, isn't it? And training programs and, allowing players rest and breathing space and stuff, especially the ones on, the guys traveling out to South America for matches, Colombia, and, we know what it's like now traveling to Europe and getting back and how knackered you are the next day. So, I can only imagine, like, you're getting back and then you've got to play 90 minutes of football the next day.
Which is why it was a bit surprising maybe to see Kamada selected over Hughes. I mean, Gerald said here, he said he never said Kamada had a bad game. Just think Hughes is a better tackler. And I think in yesterday's game, maybe I make you right, Gerald, as much as Hughes hadn't had to travel half around the world. I mean, Kamada played against Brazil. They were 2-0 down Japan and they won 3-2. It was a momentous game. He put a lot into that game. Then he had to travel. Then he had to play. So, but Oliver Glasner knows the players better than we do, doesn't he? So, he picks what he thinks is the best team to win for Crystal Palace on the day. So we've got to respect that. But yeah, I was a bit surprised Hughes to get on the pitch yesterday. We'll come to the second half and subs and that later on, of course, But so we're 1-0 down. Yasmin.
Sorry, just to butt in. Paul Bristow's come back. Alec Morton captained England in the second ever international match, beating Scotland 4-2 at Kennington Oval on the 8th of March, 1873.
Who knew that?
A long time for another captain.
My goodness me, you won't get that on any other podcast. I'll tell you that for nothing. That is a fact and a half. Thank you, Paul Bristow. Glad I asked the question now. Right, okay. And on that note, let's move on, Fergus.
Yeah, okay. So that obviously gave Bournemouth the momentum. Very energetic, playing very hard. They were actually playing our game against us. I think we got sucker punched in the first half, definitely, with our own sort of tactics that we play against other teams. But we did have. I mean, we didn't play badly in the first half. We had a few chances. Mateta had a header. Mark Gee had a close range header that was blocked. And then, again, the sucker punch, we get Bournemouth, their second goal, 38 minutes.
Hang on. Before you get onto that, I just want to talk about the Mateta chance that he missed before that, if I may. Let's do it in chronological order. So before we went 2-0 down, Pino picked the ball up quite deep on the left-hand side and puts in a delicious cross, a really interesting cross. The Mateta got his head on. Paul, should JP have done better with that header in the first half?
He's an international goal-scoring striker. Should probably hit the target from there. So he'd probably been a bit disappointed. I mean, it was a good header. There was a defender around him, but you got to at least hit the target from there. You got to.
There was that one and the one at the end of the first half were both, I think, equally good opportunities for him to score. So, Ferg, sorry to interrupt you, but we could have easily been 1-1 before they got the second goal.
Could have been, yeah.
The second goal, you're going to take us through it from Semenyo picking the ball up wide on the left, are you?
Yes, yeah, and this is where, to Yasmin's point earlier, he ran down that left side, and Chris Richards was running after him, and I've got to say, Chris did look leggy. He looked tired. And Semenyo obviously went past him. And launched across, and then you can't really blame Mark Gay. You can't.
Yes, you can.
He's tried to clear it. Yeah, he's not cleared it properly, and that obviously this youngster, this Creepy, he's just stood on the edge of the box. It's a beautiful finish, to be fair. right foot volley. Not sure if Henderson could have done better with it. He was quite close to it when it went in, but good goal, 2-0 down.
Well, look, Fergus, it's a good goal from their point of view. I think it's a very bad goal from our point of view. I think the first one I can forgive, right? Okay, so collectively. But that second goal for me, there's two things that could have happened. Okay. First of all, Chris Richards could have taken one for the team and pulled Semenya back and got booked for it and stopped the attack. That's the first thing that he could have done. I'll come to you in a minute, Paul. The second thing, once Semenya got away, because he's a very quick footballer, got his crossing, we know how good he is. Gay gets a touch on it. He could have played it out for a corner. Instead, he puts it right into the box in the danger zone. And the guy, I think someone said in the chat, the guy's on his own. No one's marking him. Walton's about 5 or 6 yards from him. He's got in front of him. He's on his own. He can't believe it. He's got the freedom of Selhurst Park. And there's no way Henderson's saving it, in my opinion. So I think Mark Gahey's the one at fault. And I think Chris Richards could have done something about it, albeit at the cost of a booking. Paul, what do you think?
He did try and take one for the team. He did pull his shirt, but he was too strong for him, and he got away from him. So he was trying to stop him and take one. But obviously Semenya is the form player in the division at the moment. He's rapid. He got down there and he crossed it. And like you said, I think Mark Gahey will be a bit disappointed with his contributions to that, which doesn't happen often. But he would have thought he could have done better. And I think probably, although it wasn't a clanger, I think Dean will probably think he might have done better as well.
Okay, fair enough. Fergus, you go along with that? Or do you agree more with me?
No, well, like I said, the guy was completely unmarked in the edge of the box. That's poor defending. I do think Henderson could have done better. But I don't know about pulling players down. I think, as it Teresa's put, we don't do deliberate fouls in the chat. And I think we're a very honest team, always have been.
Yeah.
And that's not in our DNA to do stuff like that. And I wouldn't really like it either. I mean, take one for the team if it looks like they're going to score, but when they're out wide on the left,
it's not so bad late on in the game, is it? Late on in the game, it's not so bad, because otherwise, if you're a defender and you're on a yellow for an hour, Paul mentioned about Semenya being on a yellow early on. It's you don't want a booking early because anything could happen and be sent off, Paul.
Yeah, and Chris Richards also got sent off against Bournemouth last season for 2 shirt pulls in the first half, so that might have been in his mind as well.
Very good. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Good knowledge. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So we're 2-0 down, and we're looking at ourselves thinking, "Flipping heck, we're not used to this, are we?" Aside from the Everton game at the end, it's the first time we've been behind all season.
It's interesting because before the game, they were talking to the Bournemouth manager, and they highlighted the fact that we hadn't conceded a goal in the first half this season. And as soon as you say that, you're like, oh. And not only do we concede 1, we concede 2. So that record's out the window. So whenever anyone brings up something about our records, we seem to capitulate. It's like one of those. But right, where were we? So then, so that's the goal, and then. So the one you're talking about, Ian, Mateta's left-footed shot from the centre, and Petrovic saves it to the bottom left. You think that he probably should have scored that?
I personally think I think he got it on target, fair enough. But I'd like to see him really bury that kind of shot and score from that position. But what an assist it would have been from Gahey. It was an overhead kick. Mark Gahey is getting the most amazing positions for a centre back, isn't he? He really is. Yeah. He could have had 3 assists yesterday. He really could. Instead, he had 1. But I think it was a good chance, big chance again. So I think the header and that one, I think you put them down as opportunities missed for sure.
The keeper did well coming out though, didn't he? I mean, he narrowed the angle. Right. I mean, that's half time. So I was going to ask you guys, what do you think the half-time team talk would have been about? Because Glasner's never really been in this position before, not for a long time. So,
we heard what he said afterwards. I mean, Paul, let me bring you in. Did you hear what Glasner said afterwards when he was asked that question?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, there was no lack of intensity. I mean, I thought he might change something, but he didn't. He came out, same personnel, same formation. I think And again, I've said this many times, we all have our own views on football, and we can't criticise Oliver Glasner or Crystal Palace at the moment because you just look at the results. But I thought we needed to go a bit more long ball, a bit more direct, because every time we had the ball at the back, they had 3 players pressing us, and if you bypass them, then they're out the game. But he sticks to his principles, and we played the same way, and he proved me wrong again, and he proved most anyone who thought we should have changed it, because the team stepped up, played much more attacking with the same formation, same players, and it shows if any team can have an off half or off game, anything like that, and yeah, the first half wasn't our best, and Bournemouth were a very good team, so there's no disgrace in that respect. But yeah, he's obviously of the belief that we'll worry about ourselves, we'll hurt them, and we did. We came out, and as he said, it's one of the best attacking halves we played.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose the first big talking point, Fergus, was the yellow card that went to VAR.
Yeah, what, in the second half?
Yeah.
The second half. I was going to say, we had a couple of chances early on. We came out, we looked better. I've got to be honest. I was expecting him to take JP off and bring Nketiah on. I don't think JP had a great.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think he had a great game. He was missing.
It's a good job you're not the manager, then, isn't it? Really?
Exactly. What do I know? Exactly. So I've got to be honest. Yeah, I did. The guys that I sit with, I did say to them, he's got to take JP off. I thought he just looked tired. I thought he looked tired from international duty. He'd had a long week. But anyway, he didn't. Thank God.
Let me see if you're on your own there, or whether the majority of our viewers are in agreement with you, Fergus. So if you think you agree with Fergus and think that John Philippe Mateta should have been taken off half time, tell us. And if you don't, then tell us that as well. So.
You've got to be honest. Yeah, at half time, you're 2-0 down. He's missed a load of chances. So,
yeah, there we go.
It's all very well in hindsight, but
yeah. Talk us through this talking point, the big talking point, the first big talking point in the second half, when Senesi brings Sarr down and he's seemingly through on goal.
Yeah, so 50th minute, Senesi, just as he's described, he's took Sarr down. Sarr, it took a couple of steps, and then he started rolling over, and I just thought, it's a bit dramatic, but he was fouled. The guy did catch him. I'm in the upper right in the middle of the goal, and I could clearly see he was moving away from goal, and there was a Bournemouth defender in the centre of the pitch in front of him. So when the ref got the yellow card out, I thought, okay, that's fair enough on 2 points. I was really, really surprised when it went to VAR, because I just thought, well, okay. From where I was sitting, it looked.
Okay. You've got a vantage point there. What about where you were sitting, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, I thought from where I looked, it looked like a red card, and obviously he gives the booking, and then the fact that VAR thinks he should have another look at it is a good indicator on that front. Yeah. When they come back and do the speech, he says there was a covering defender and he was going away from goal. Now, I don't think he's going. The rule is a goal scoring opportunity. The next touch of that ball from Sarr is going to be a shot at goal. So it's a goal scoring opportunity, and the defender was not getting anywhere near them. So to me, that should be a red card. However, and this is my however, the reason he wasn't, one of the reasons he wasn't, was because he was going away from goal. Now, we had a similar thing in the FA Cup final where there should have been a red card and it was not given because he was going away from goal. And the man who said that was VAR Jared Gillett. So I'm prepared to waive this one, and he was consistent on both incidents and didn't go for a red card. So I'll let him off this one.
Yeah, Jill says the covering defender was 25 yards away. I think you can make an argument both ways. I've got Senesi in my fantasy team. I'm thinking, send him off. I don't really care about the points in this stage, But it was he had a good game, by the way, Senesi. I think he's a fantastic footballer, Argentina centre back. But he was worried. You could see that when the camera panned into his face, he was then worried. Was he going to go? And I think someone said in the chat as well, could Sarr have stayed on his feet even? He sort of stumbled. You're saying no, Paul. Because there was maybe an opportunity for him to have done that. So yeah, Max 03 says he thought Sarr dived. He goes down a second leg theatrically to the ground when he could have carried on. Maybe he could have done. We will never know whether he could have done or not. But I think we were a tad unlucky that it wasn't overturned. And it doesn't happen very often. It tends to happen against us. It happened up at Aston Villa, didn't it, that time when they gave a penalty and it wasn't a penalty and he still stuck with his on-field decision. I think that was Darren England.
Yeah.
Paul, do you want to come in here again?
Yeah, I don't think Sarr's going to fall over at that point. We're 2-0 down. We need a goal. He's as I said, his next move is a shot on goal. He wants to score, so I don't think he could have stayed up there.
Yeah, okay. All good. Anyway, so it's not a red card. Took about 4 minutes to get to that decision, and we get a free kick instead, Fergus.
Yeah. He did take his time looking at it, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
And the longer they look at it, the more you think, okay.
I thought he'd gone for a cup of tea at one point. He'd gone so long, you know.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that Dino joined him to have a look as well.
Yeah.
I was wondering what happened to him.
We were watching his reaction, actually. That's what we were watching. Yeah. Very good.
I'm pretty sure he did say it's a red ref or something like that.
Very good.
Yeah. So anyway,
go on.
I was going to say, he stays on the pitch. We had a couple of chances after that. I think Mateta had a right foot shot too high. And then Pino had a shot which went over, and then literally a second later got booked for a pull on, I can't remember the guy's name. But yeah, cynical yellow card. And he gets substituted 2 minutes later for Nketiah, which I think was, in hindsight, a really good substitution.
Yes.
And then, and then more drama, 64th minute. We did have some sustained pressure leading up to the goal, to be fair. The momentum was with us. Daniel Munoz, low cross, Jean-Philippe Mateta's tapped it in. And straight away, the flag went up for offside, didn't it?
Yeah.
Almost immediately. And I think it was for the ball. I think Lacroix passed the ball into Mateta originally before he knocked it out to Sarr. And that's what they were looking at. They were looking at whether to see if he was offside when he received the ball from Lacroix. But he wasn't, thankfully. When they drew the lines, he was quite comfortably onside. And the goal was given. So 2-1. I don't know what you guys thought initially. Do you think it was offside?
I thought the ref on the far side was as quick to give the offside decisions and put his flag up as the guy on our side was as slow to do it. Yeah. So, they counted each other out. It's a shame it couldn't have been the other way round, actually, because the linesman on our side was useless. He missed 2 or 3 in the first half. If they see him, they flag, don't they? As they think they see it, they flag. And I said to a guy next to me when they were checking it, I said, look, if he's on, we're going to get the goal. That's the beauty of VAR, isn't it? That's what it's there for. And thankfully, it worked in our favour yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. So we're 2-1. 2-1 now.
2-1. Momentum's with us. And we're pushing. I think Munoz had a shot saved from the right side of the box. It's funny enough because I think the Bournemouth goalkeeper was the third highest. He had the third highest form for a player in the game. So, which shows you just how much work that he had to do. And although Bournemouth had a lot of possession, they didn't have many shots.
No.
Their XG compared to ours was insignificant. But yeah, and anyway, then the second goal, so 69 minutes. I think it was it Kamada? Kamada crosses the ball in. And Munoz, what Munoz always does, far post, crosses it, and Mateta's at the other far post, the opposite post, for a tap-in. And it's 2-2. And again, I was like, oh my God, are they're gonna check this for VAR? Was it going to go to offside for an offside? Because they all look very similar, don't they?
Especially
yeah,
from where
2-2.
you're sitting, you can't tell, can you, from where you're sitting at all, the other end, you know. So yeah, you're right. It was carbon copy, wasn't it? Almost that goal, the second one. You know, it was almost like carbon copy. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. Did Munoz get an assist for that?
Yeah.
Fantasy football, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the keeper did get his hand to it, didn't he? So
Yeah.
it's just wondering whether they'd take that away from him.
No, not at all. That's a new rule this year in
slight
fantasy. If the ball is played in, even as defender gets a flick on, as long as the intention is there, the assist is given. Rightly so, I think. So yeah, 2 assists for Danny Munoz yesterday. Really good.
Yeah.
But I thought John Philippe Mateta still had a bit to do. Although it was a tap in, he had to stretch. You know, I mean, you've seen him missed. You've seen him missed at that far post. You've seen him missed, but he got the goal and kicked the corner flag in celebration for that one. And we're suddenly with 2 each, and suddenly we're thinking, hello, we could win this, couldn't we?
Hello. And we were thinking hello, weren't we? Because we had quite a lot of pressure. I think Mateta had a few shots after that, and then we had the goal that was disallowed for offside. Mm-hmm. Again, the same linesman, flag straight up, 78 minutes, I think it was. And Ketia had the ball in the net. That seemed to get checked very, very quickly, almost before the ref had run back to the halfway line, I think. So that was obviously a clear and obvious offside. So that was on 78 minutes. And then you think the momentum is with us. But yeah, going back to the old days, Palace, the last minute. I mean, we did it at Everton as well. And Bournemouth hit us very late, 89th minute. Marcus Tavernier. I've got to admit, because they took Alex Scott off, and I thought he was one of their better players, and they brought Ryan Christie on. And I was actually quite pleased about that. I thought, all right, okay, maybe they're playing for a draw. But Ryan Christie pops up. Mark Tavernier crosses the ball, and he's there. Mitchell's nowhere to be seen. He's behind him. And he's just got a simple tap in for 3-2. And it's devastating. 89th minute. I was just thinking, oh my God, not again. Not 2 weeks.
I mean, they made the point, Fergus, on Match of the Day, I think, that Ryan Christie, fresh legs, gets into the box and gets on the end of the cross.
Yeah.
Make it 3-2 to Bournemouth. Do you think, or any of you, do you think that Oliver Glasner could and should have made more substitutions yesterday? I mean, he's got Lerma and Hughes on the bench. I'm not sure why they didn't get some game time yesterday. What do you think, Yas?
Yeah, I was puzzled by that because I thought those two would come on for sure. So I don't know why, but I'm guessing he knows the players and what's gone on. I just want to say that Keith Parker put in the chat that the third goal for Bournemouth was poor defending, which I think we all agree with. But yeah, it is weird not to have that many subs because especially as a lot of them would have been tired. So I don't know what his thinking is, but I don't know. He's hardly wrong on that score, is he? So I can go with him.
You can go with it for that one. Paul, what do you think? Should we have seen more subs?
Well, he came out. The team was playing well. We were in the ascendancy. We had the momentum. We were probably looking like the team who was going to get the third goal. And he said that there didn't look like there was a drop in intensity from any of the players. So he's got medical staff on the thing. They're all monitoring stuff all the time. And so I can understand why he didn't do it yesterday. You damned if you do, damned if you don't. Sometimes we'll only suffer that on Thursday, won't we? It's but yeah.
Okay, we need to move on because I want to talk about Thursday night. Yasmin, quickly.
Just going to say, the one sub he did make was a super sub, though. He changed the game.
Yeah, I like to think that they played the two of them together up top, Nketiah and Mateta and Sarr as well. So the three of a three-pronged attack. Because I think Pino is playing a bit deeper than Eze used to play, for example. So yeah. Fergus, so we're 3-2. Gets 90 minutes. And what do we get? 8 minutes go up? Was that right?
8 minutes injury time, yeah. And I've got to admit, there's a lot of people in the upper tier leaving then when that third goal went in. Yeah. So they would have heard the boom, boom, boom when they were at the bottom of the home score. But yeah, so drama in injury time. So final moments. Yeah, so Mark Gay's brought down in the box by Bafodi Diakite. And it's given for a pull. There was another Palace player being pulled down as well, so incidentally at the same time. But and I think, and Yas mentioned this earlier, but I think the referee had already warned the Bournemouth players prior to this at other corners about pulling. And I think this was just one too many. And yeah, okay, some people might say it's a bit soft, but if you've been told once, twice, 3 times, and you do it again, the ref's going to give the pen, and he did. And it was checked by VAR as well, wasn't it? Again, I think everything that we did yesterday was checked by VAR.
Yes, they were kept busy, weren't they, VAR, for sure?
They were, yeah. And fortunately enough, it was given to JP. Had his opportunity to score a hat trick, and like JP's always done, sent the goalkeeper the wrong way, and it's 3-3. And I've got to admit, when the final whistle went, it felt like a win, because if you're 2-0 down at half time and someone says, "I'll give you 3-3," you'd take it, wouldn't you? So I was happy. I was happy leaving the ground.
Yeah, you would take it, but that wasn't the end, was it? The 3-3. I mean, they had another shot on goal for a start. In the 96th, 97th minute, but after that, I mean, goodness me, I think Nigel's got a picture here. Let's just have a look at this. Not that one. Yeah, that's the one. This is JP missing this chance in the 97th minute, and he had his head in his hands. And there's another photograph I think it's taken from the Homesdale upper tier, where collectively every Palace player falls to the ground when he misses it. That's it. That's the one. Look at that. So for the benefit of the podcast, if you're listening, they've all got their hands on their head. It's an incredible photograph. It looks like half the Bournemouth players have been shot as well. They're on the ground and everything. It's everyone's totally spent. This is the 98th minute. The footage on Final Score, I've watched it back, and Nigel was talking about it pre-show, was remarkable, because the host, I can't remember his name, he's going, I don't use the word unbelievable too often, but unbelievable. How's he missed this? And Glenn Murray was doing it as well. He said, how he's missed it? They just couldn't work it out, But he's come at him quite quick. It was a bit of a funny angle, maybe, and he just tries to put his laces through it first time, whereas if he takes a touch, maybe he scores. But we'll never know. But it was
probably the easiest chance
of the season
for him. I think it was good play from him initially, flicking it on to Nketiah, and it's a good cutback. But yeah, he should have done better than that. Get his head over it and just smash it in the net.
So some people missed it. PR66. He went to the men's room there. He missed it. He was trying to beat the crowds. I just held on, guys. I just held on. So it's just one of those things, isn't it? And he got the match ball. He's got a hat trick from 2-0 down to 3-3. You'd think he'd be rejoicing, but he's actually quite upset at the end. In the interview as well afterwards. And I think in a way that's a good thing. It shows how much he wants to win. Apparently he apologised in the dressing room, and Oliver Glasner said, "You got nothing to apologise for." Absolutely nothing to apologise for.
When he was being interviewed, they said, "Oh, but you've scored a hat trick," and he went, "Yeah, but I should have scored 4."
Yeah,
he was upset.
It was quite something. I think if you're Bournemouth, you would have been a bit hard done by if you'd lost. No two.
It was a fair result, I think.
Yeah,
3-3. Because when they scored, I was thinking, it's just not a fair result based on first half, second half. Put you even, wasn't it? And then we almost did it to them. So,
And Areola, their manager, was not happy that the penalty was given. He thinks it was just 6 of one, half dozen the other. But he's bound to say that, isn't he? He's bound to say that.
I thought it was two of the best managers against each other yesterday.
Yeah.
So it was good to see that on show as well.
Yeah.
Well, we first got back to the day.
No, we were second.
Second. Who was first?
Forest Chelsea. So Paul Bristow's asked a question in the chat, Yasmin. Do you want to answer the question? You know the answer now, don't you?
Oh, didn't you say it was Wolves?
Yeah. So when did we last win a game after losing at half time? And the answer was on the October 2022 against Wolves. We were 1-0 down We came back to win 2-1. But the interesting thing about this, it was exactly the same date, the 18th of October. And Stato Paul Bristow also tells me that apparently, someone check him out on this one, Paul Gear, check him out on this one. Apparently, the crowd given of 25,125 was exactly the same as well. That's mad. That's mad.
But we didn't win, Ian.
No, we didn't win yesterday, but
if we had done it, it would have been great for stats.
It would have been, yeah.
Was it Leicester, Lee Lockwood? No, it wasn't. It was Wolves, apparently. But there we are. Okay, guys. So, and a hard-earned point against a very good Bournemouth side. As you can see, possession, not much in it at all. But look at the shots that Crystal Palace had compared to Bournemouth. Shots on target, even 7. So they're 5. Corners are fairly even. And free kicks, we have more. So they fouled us more. But it was a great game of football for the neutral, and it wasn't the kind of game for the faint-hearted at all. But I think it was a great point, really good point. And sometimes you just got to respect that point and move on to the next game, which obviously is what we are going to do. So, Fergus, anything else you want to add? Anything we've missed?
Well, I just wanted to mention Mateta's XG yesterday.
Oh, yeah, please do.
3.48, which is the highest that's ever been recorded since they started these XG stats. And I don't think anyone's even got close to it. So, 11 shots, expected XG 3.48, and the team on its own was 4.44.
Yeah.
So, pretty impressive.
I think it's just a question of time, isn't it? I mean, go back to looking at the Everton game. We bossed that game. We should have won the game. We didn't. We lost it in the end. And we should have scored more goals yesterday, given the XG stats. So is it just a question of time before this starts to click, Yasmin, and we do give someone our absolute hiding and win 3 or 4, 5-0 quite comfortably?
Yeah, I think so, because the amount of chances we're having, it is only going to be a matter of time before we start just burying them, and I can see some really good results. Hopefully against Brighton would be good to start us off on that. And just before we go on, everyone in the chat is in hysterics about Nottingham Forest right now.
And rightly so. I mean, I don't want to spend much time, waste too much breath on this podcast talking about Nottingham Forest, but I was delighted they lost yesterday. Do I feel sorry for Ange Postecoglou? Not at all. He's smiling as he's leaving their training ground because he's got a massive payoff. Secret agent Mile Jedinak has done the business, and I just want them to lose every game and get relegated. There you go, I said it. So let's hope that comes to fruition for that club that weren't very sporting at all to us in the summer. So often on this podcast we talk about other team news. Very briefly to say that the under-18s, they won 4-0 against Fulham yesterday, and they're top of their league. The under-21s haven't played since we were last on air. And the women, they beat Ipswich Town in the League Cup 3-2. I think they've now got an international break. And there are 9 of our women on international duty. In the WSL2, they're mid-table. So they've got a bit of work to do, I think, to get promoted again. So let's hope that they turn their season around after the international break, because they've had lots of draws. They drew with Sunderland, they drew with Newcastle. Funny enough, they drew with the 3 teams from the North East, Sunderland, Newcastle and Durham, in the last 3 games, apparently. So there you go. You don't get that on many other Crystal Palace podcasts either, I hasten to add. So we move on to our next game. And our next game is in the UEFA Conference League on Thursday at Selhurst Park, as we all know. And our opponents are AEK Larnaca from Cyprus. Now, I'm guessing that if you're anything like me, you don't know much about this opposition. So I've asked Paul Gear to have a little look at it. Paul, you're going to tell us some things about Larnaca that we don't know.
Yes, I've had a quick look this afternoon to try and get sort of a feeling for what we're going to be facing this week. So, yeah, obviously AEK Larnaca, they're in the Cypriot First Division. Briefly, their history: they've never won the Cypriot League, but they've been runner-up 6 times. They've won their cup 3 times, and they've won their Super Cup, which is their Charity Shield, once. So the reason they're in Europe is because, like us last year, they won their cup. So they beat the eventual league leaders Paphos in the cup final, and that, like, should have done for us, qualified for the Europa League, but then for the qualifiers. So they had to go through some qualifying rounds to see if they get to the Europa League. So in the first round, they beat Partizan Belgrade on penalties after drawing 2-2 over 2 legs. They then got Celje of Slovenia, who they beat 3-2 over 2 legs. And then they won the third round. They beat Legia Warsaw 5-3 over 2 legs. So they won their first 3 pre-qualifying to get into the main qualifying, where they sadly, for them, they lost 6-1 on aggregate to Brann of Norway. So that sort of gives you a rough guide of the standard and if Brann can smash them like that. But having said that, they played, obviously like us, they played their first conference game last week in game week 1, and they played AZ Alkmaar, who is the pot 1 team for them. So AZ probably the strongest opponent on paper for them. But they won 4-0, which I was a bit surprised at. And when I looked into it, it became a bit clearer because Alkmaar had a man sent off in the second minute. So they basically played a match against 10 men all game. So sort of put a bit of a perspective on that. But they beat what was in front of them. And so they're now currently second in the 36-team league of the conference. They are currently second. Obviously, we're 7th. So, yeah, it's going to be a top-of-the-table clash, as it were. Domestically at the moment, they're currently 4th in their league. They've won 4, drawn 1, lost 2. And their last game this weekend, they won 2-0 away at the bottom club in Cyprus, which is a team, and I'm going to try and say it properly, it's called EN Paralimniu. So they're on a run, but so they're not a great side. They were in pot 5 when they came into this league, which was obviously based on their previous Europa history, which isn't great, or they're currently. So they're not a great team. We shouldn't have too many issues with them, hopefully. But I thought, just so we know who to look for, I decided to go to Microsoft Copilot, and I asked it who Larnaca's best player was. And the response was, it said Larnaca's standout player is someone called Godswill Ekpolo, who is a versatile right back from Nigeria, and is the club's most valuable player, valued at €1 million. So
okay,
we're all got to watch out for him on Thursday.
Okay, Mark Callahan says that, what's he say? Dave Zobra is their top striker. Oh, okay. Mark, we bow to your knowledge of that. Thank you, Paul, for that insight into AEK Larnaca. So are they professional full-time players, or are they part-time? What do we know about that status?
No, I think the Cypriot league is a full-on league. It's they're in Europe. They haven't made Europe most years, but there's other teams in there that do. So it's about I think it's their 5th time in Europe. So I think over the last 20 years or so.
Wow. Okay. And Tony Quinn says SK Brann are better than you think. Well, obviously they smashed this lot 6-1, so they're decent. Didn't Punchin end up there? Jill says. Where did Punchin play? He played inside, didn't he?
There, but I take it wasn't, Paul, because you would have seen that on your research.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was that particular club, but you never know.
Yeah. And Mark Cullen was joking. Sorry, I'm so gullible, Mark. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. All good.
They beat Legia Warsaw, though, and they're they're up there, aren't they? They're one of the favourites, apparently.
So they beat Legia Warsaw, but Legia Warsaw are also in the Conference League, yeah?
They are, yeah. Well, they beat them in the Europa qualifiers, but
okay.
I
don't understand all those qualifiers. That's crazy. But there we played one game. But Yasmin.
Just to say, Sosa is suspended, isn't he, for this game? Yeah. So he can't come in on Thursday.
Okay. So that's a nice little segue.
Question in the chat.
So that's a nice little segue, Yaz, into what changes would you guys make to the starting 11 on Thursday evening? You're allowed to make 3 changes because you're not going to make wholesale changes. Let's say he makes 3 changes. Who are you dropping? Who needs a rest? And who are you bringing in? Who should we start with? Start with you, Paul.
That's a good question. I mean, you could. I mean, personally, it's if they're good to go, I would play the first team, win the game, and if you're 3-0 up, hopefully on the hour or before, then you can start swapping people around. I think the best way to do that, if you're going to rest players, it's probably more appropriate to do it for the Liverpool Cup game because I think they will do the same. But in terms of these games, for me, get through early. Win your first 4 games, you're pretty much through. You can then rest everyone for the last 2.
So you wouldn't make any changes. You would pick your first team.
As long as they all reported all right after yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. Ferg or yes, would you agree? Don't all say yes. It's boring otherwise.
I was going to make changes. Really.
Come on, then. Who would you change?
Well, I'd bring in them probably
Who for?
Kamada.
Kamada. Okay.
I would. Who else have we got? I'm just trying to think. Maybe Devaney as well.
Where would you play Justin Devaney?
Well, I'm trying to think who I don't know if I'd rest Adam Wharton. Just to try and make sure he's fresh for Sunday, if you see what I mean, because that game's going to be really important. And then maybe Eddie for JP.
Okay, interesting. Fergus, what about you? What changes would you make?
Right, so from the start, I'd bring in Cambo for Richards, because I think Richards did look tired, and he looked pretty decent, Cambo, in the cup game. So I'd bring Hughes in for Kamada, and I would bring in Benitez in goal for Henderson.
Okay.
And then, as Yasmin alluded to, I think, if we're 2-3-4 0 up after 60 minutes, we're looking comfortable, then I'd take your JP off, and Nketiah, I'd take Wharton off, maybe for Devaney.
Okay. So
I'd start resting players.
Okay. The three changes you're making then are Hughes for Kamada, Camvo for Richards, and
Henderson
in goal. Okay, Paul.
If I was going to make one change, I would bring Eddie in for Pino.
Eddie in for Pino. Okay, that's interesting. Someone said in the chat, can't see it's gone through. Pete Storm, Devaney's been brilliant for Ireland. Devaney plays left wing back for Ireland, or left back. Given that Sosa isn't available, and given that he's been keen to bring Sosa in and play in these games, Justin Devaney instead of Tyrick Mitchell, why not? Why not, Paul Gear? You're shaking your head like it's the worst decision in the world. Why not?
Tyrick's not played a cup game this season. Of all the players in that back line, he's probably played the least minutes, so he's probably the least that needs a rest.
Okay. I'm not so sure. I thought you looked knackered at the end. They all did, but there we are. Anyway, we shall see, won't we, on Thursday? We're not Oliver Glasner. Thank goodness we haven't got to make those decisions, because it's tough, isn't it? But obviously we want to win the game early. We want to win the game within an hour. And then, as you've already said, all of you, you can then start to make changes as the game wears on. Okay, so let's move this on. Let's have a look at our future games then. Now, what we said pre-show, this is really interesting. From the game against Larnaca on Thursday, we have 6 games in 17 days. I'm not sure when the last time that happened for Crystal Palace Football Club. But immediately after the Larnaca game, of course, we go to Arsenal next Sunday for a 2 p.m. kickoff live on Sky. Then Paul and Yaz, I know you're travelling to Liverpool next Wednesday. The real hardcore supporters amongst us for the Carabao Cup tie. And then we're back at Selhurst on the 1st of November, 3 days after that, for the visit of Brentford, 3 p.m. And then comes AZ Alkmaar, the Dutch side, to Selhurst, before the big one, of course. That little team from the South Coast come and travel to Selhurst for the 9th of November. So that's a pretty grueling schedule of football matches in the next few days. So quickly, predictions then for Thursday and next Sunday. What have we got? I'm going to come ladies first, of course. I think that's only fair, Yasmin, isn't it? Ladies first.
Yep.
Give me just 2 score lines without any explanation for Thursday and Sunday.
3-0 to us Thursday and 2-1 to us Sunday.
2-1 to us Sunday. Oh, okay, fine. Ferg.
I'm going to go 4-0 Thursday.
Yeah.
And I'd take a 1-1 draw on Sunday.
Okay.
That's Arsenal.
Paul.
I'm doing a hybrid of the two. I'm going for 3-0 Thursday, 1-1 Sunday.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm going to go for a 2-0 on Thursday. I don't think it'll be as easy as you guys are making out. And I'm going to go for a 2-2 at the Emirates next Sunday. I think we'll share the spoils. It's going to be a good game of football. And your predictions are all coming through in the chat. Keep them coming, guys. We'll have a read of them all later on. Thank you so much to everyone for joining the show tonight. Thank you for joining us. Next week, who's that? Where's Wally? What's that all about? Is that supposed to be funny? Move on. Yeah, next Monday we'll do a show, and Nick Philpott is back with us. I don't know whether any of you guys are on. I'm not sure I will be. We'll have to see. So Monday, the 27th of October, 8 p.m. Do join us again then. So from myself, Yaz, Paul and Fergus, thank you so much for joining us. Have a good rest of the evening and have a good week, everyone. See you next time. Thank you.
If you know,
Bye,
the
everyone.
Palace.